What's up?
Good evening. How are you, buddy?
I'm pretty good.
So the world's getting a little heated these days.
Yeah, seems more fun a little bit in some ways.
Fun?
My timeline seems a little bit. I mean, there's some really heavy shit going on right now, but that we'll get into. But I'm actually really enjoying the Diddy doc. I'm through episode 1.
I heard about that. What's going? I haven't seen any.
Dude,
of that.
they're linking him to every murder, like on X.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, it's interesting. He seemed to.
So this is a documentary that 50 Cent made or something, right?
Yeah, but no, there's a legit Emmy Award-winning documentary filmmaker who directed it. It's not just a straight-up hit piece.
So
there's some things that are like,
you know, sort of just laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, he's not really in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is just like footage. They got footage from the videographer who Diddy hired in the weeks before he got indicted, I think, or went to jail. Like he was still trying to get out of it, and he hired someone to kind of cover him, but they never paid.
He never paid, so
that guy turned to 50 Cent bought it. And I don't think they were like NDAs or enough strong enough stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously 50 Cent has his, I mean, he's going after, this is a hit piece in a way from 50's point of view, but there's great filmmaking. Some of it is definitely like they're piecing things like an interview that maybe happened in 94. They're making it seem like it happened in 96. There are some instances like that I've seen, but one instance is, so there's these themes. I mean, his dad, I don't know if you know, his dad was a gangster.
No, I know.
It was a sort of a big Harlem gangster, and a sort of a hit that made like the back, front pages of New York Times in Central Park West. And I guess he left his mom a lot of money, or some money. I mean, they were still kind of in the hood, but she drove a Cadillac and things like this, and they seemed to protect it. So some people have kind of said maybe he comes from a long line of informants. But so he seems to like kind of go after his rivals or people he's jealous of, like their girls. He tries to end their careers. Everyone who he started Uptown Records with is dead. Heart attacks and things like that. Heavy D, Heavy D went into a coma. I'll Be Sure, Andre Harrell, who he started the record label with. But then like Tupac, a lot of linkage to Tupac and Biggie, who he was very good friends with.
But no one was like hanging from a tree with an extension cord and a shotgun blast to the chest.
I mean, people were taken out on the streets of Vegas.
Did you not get the reference?
No.
Oh, okay. Forget it. Moving along.
Sorry. But even like there was this clip of him and Nipsey Hussle, who died and, was murdered or, but several weeks or a few days before that, Nipsey's like clapping.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Okay. I am.
Well, Diddy's like, you better stop clapping, and Nipsey's like, I'm gonna clap all night. Nipsey died, and then I don't know. All right. Anyway, I'm enjoying it immensely. Other than that,
okay. I was talking more about like what's going down in Venezuela, the conversations around. I think Japan is saying something like it would be an existential threat to our sovereignty if China attacked Taiwan. The Russia-Ukraine peace thing that's falling apart. It's like the world just seems to be devolving into like, we need war somewhere. We need war. Like we need war now.
Well, we've kind of talked about that before. Where war is a great way to spend money, incur debt, cover inflation. We're going to
cover it today.
Keep people at home.
Japan's interest rates are rising. Their bond market's starting to look really sketchy. Inflation is coming. They're the most indebted country in the West, as far as
second most indebted. Yeah,
second most indebted. Who's the first? Do you know?
No, I don't. But it's like 200. They're approaching 220%.
It's
debt
massive.
to GDP. Yeah,
massive. So I don't know. I think 2026 is going to be the year of conflict,
or is it the year of liquidity? Which is what I think a lot of people are sort of having hopium around.
I think they go hand in hand.
Sure.
If you have conflict, it's
the money printer goes on and
necessitates more liquidity.
Yeah. Well, okay.
To be seen.
All right. I want to read a piece from. Did you hear about the Bernstein report that came out? So Alliance Bernstein, in view of recent market correction, we believe the Bitcoin cycle has broken the 4-year pattern. cycle peaking every 4 years, and is now in an elongated bull cycle with more sticky institutional buying offsetting any retail panic selling.
I'm so glad that they explained it to me.
Hmm.
Whew. Takes the load off.
Despite a 30% Bitcoin correction, we have seen less than 5% outflows via ETFs. We are moving our 2026 Bitcoin price target to 150,000, with the cycle potentially peaking in 2027 at 200,000. Our long-term 2033 Bitcoin price target remains 1 million.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, Lance Bernstein's pretty big. Big. I mean, important is sort of a stodgy institution.
But I mean,
they
never. I mean, all of these guys get stuff right all the time. So,
no, I mean, all right.
Let's go. Start the show.
Please hit like and subscribe. This is Bitcoin Center live stream number 32. My name's Cedric Youngelman.
I'm the smartass in the corner.
Yeah, Paul Tarantino. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into it.
Let's be real, right? Praising Telegram for launching a Bitcoin wallet. I've always felt like with Haley,
Bitcoin, this digital currency that's out there that people say, oh, it might be the next big thing. What do you think?
I think it's rat poison.
Bitcoins. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them, but is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock? Or is it a tulip bulb?
Or is it
Whatever
just
debate that.
Stupid.
To me, it smells like Ponzi scheme and the greater fool theory, right?
you do like 5 minutes of freaking research.
Well, okay, thanks for coming to my set talk.
Yes.
Don't buy shitcoins. Oh, man, I always get that wrong. All right. Bitcoin's recent rally. Do you agree? Is crypto finally dead? Go to the next one.
Matter of fact, they're kind of in the Ethernet. What are they?
There's some rumors that it's this Japanese guy, but others say no, that he's a fake name. It was a pseudonym. I mean, you're literally putting real money onto a system that we don't even know who created it.
It will come to a bad ending. Is this the most exciting bull run ever?
Not for me. No, it's not.
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, the fast-paced show where the debate is the story.
All right.
You're up.
Let's get into it. Vanguard unlocks crypto ETFs and allows their customers to. Yeah, well, let's do it. Like, is this important? Is this notable?
This is so good, dude. Do they understand the hypocrisy of being the largest passive investor supporter in the world and not allowing people to own crypto?
Well, they have an ethos and a creed. They do.
Yeah,
and it's very conservative.
Not analyzing companies.
Cash flow, passive income
yes,
investments.
Exactly. Their entire ethos is don't do anything except buy everything.
Sure.
Don't do any research.
All of American companies or all of mid-cap or all of...
Yeah, right. Right. So why not all digital assets? I guess they finally
100%.
They finally figured out that it's passive enough for them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
It's just freaking.
Well, it doesn't kick off income.
It's hilarious,
there's no yield.
right? I mean, it's like to make an entire industry out of not having an opinion, but then for the last decade they've had a horrible opinion of Bitcoin,
right? And gated up and excluded.
Yeah. It was not a valid asset.
Sure. I mean, I think they think they're acting in the best interest of their clients, but
but they're not supposed to do that.
Is this? What does this say about now? BlackRock's obviously in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Vanguard,
about
PNC Bank.
I mean,
Bank of America.
I think it says that they've just finally capitulated.
Sure,
that's all it says.
It's good money in this.
I mean, anybody who's wanted it is gone.
What does this say to grandma and grandpa?
Okay, though? Vanguard, I'll go open an account at Fidelity.
Sure. What does this say to all the boomers at Vanguard who don't have money at Schwab, don't have money at Morgan Stanley?
Yeah, they're probably not going to change their mind.
Well, maybe they.
I think this is good news for adoption for like 401ks and IRAs and things like that. The people that are on the Vanguard platform that finally can get exposure, great
price exposure.
But you should have just gone and opened up an account somewhere else a long time ago and told them to go screw themselves.
Yeah, well, it's still super early though. So even the people who are onboarding through ETFs at Vanguard now are early. I mean, only one. How much of the world do you think is into Bitcoin? 1%?
I mean, yeah, the rumors are like between 1 and 3, but
All right, let's call it 2%.
I would say I would.
If you go from 2% to 5 to 10%,
I would err on the side of 1% because many people have multiple wallets.
So when you go from 1% to 10%, that's not just a 10x increase. I mean, it's a 10x increase in amount of capital and people. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on. All right, sovereign funds by the dip. Larry Fink disclosed.
We're seeing more and more legitimate long-only investors investing in it. There was an article about a foundation, endowment just bought a lot of IBIT. But I can tell you there are a number of sovereign funds that are standing by. They're adding incrementally at 120, at 100. I know they bought more in the 80s. Right. That's fine. And they're establishing a longer position. And you own it over years. This is not a trade. You own it for.
I'm going to take the other side now. I mean, does this not make you think Bitcoin is not headed towards being captured? Or, I mean, the new Klaus Schwab is
the Klaus Schwab of Bitcoin.
And he's the head of the World Economic Forum, and sovereign wealth funds are scooping up Bitcoin. Is that just smart of them?
Yes.
Do they not fear it anymore? They just want exposure, and they don't worry about sort of their local currencies.
I mean, look, Wall Street is like a whole set of confirmation bias people. Like as soon as the head says, "Hey guys, this is good," everybody gets in line and says to their customers, "Hey, this is good," and then the customers tell their friends, "This is good," and everybody gets in line and does what they're told to do.
5 years ago, I would have sent my friends a clip like this. If anyone at Goldman Sachs was like, Bitcoin is interesting, I would have been like, yo, you got to see this. All my old TradFi friends. I don't even try anymore.
Right.
But this is the kind of thing I'd be like, Larry, not that I think Larry Fink is awesome, but that I think he carries weight in that world and the confirmation bias they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And from that angle, how is this not more viral and sort of mainstream traditional, sort of current or new edgy mainstream?
I don't know. Maybe we're the wrong people to ask, right? Maybe we're the wrong people to ask because we spent the last several years like anti
Wall Street.
And
kind
so
of still are from a Bitcoin perspective.
No, 100%. But so when this kind of news comes out, it's kind of like not that exciting to us. I don't know. Maybe
for us, not anymore.
The advisor at Morgan Stanley is like jumping up and down in his chair right now because he gets to like show this to his clients and he's all excited about it. I don't know. But it's, it is becoming acceptable and it is becoming commonplace for the average Joe to think, okay, there's the devaluation of our currency and that's a debasement trade and I got to get some exposure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to the next one here.
Essentially, what Bitcoin is doing is taking excess energy, storing it into a new form. Mm-hmm. It's called currency. Right. And you take that currency and you take it wherever you like. And so you took energy from one place and now you've transported it everywhere. Now, of course, that's just Bitcoin. Imagine a much more universal currency called intelligence. Using exactly all the same concept that you described. You find places with excess energy. Go put a data center there. Transfer that energy, compress it into an artificial intelligence model. Take that model all over the place.
How much do you think this is about him understanding Bitcoin versus AI and Bitcoin need each other from a data, compute, energy perspective, and there's an alignment sort of emerging here?
I just took it as he was just trying to use the Bitcoin analogy to explain how they would be delivering intelligence from server farms off grid. That's
explain that to me like I'm a 5-year-old Bitcoin podcaster.
So, like, Bitcoin has made trapped energy accessible. Like
sure.
You could put a mining center in the middle of nowhere.
Right, where you can't sort of transfer it because you would lose too much.
Right.
You could build it before the civilization is there.
Exactly. Sure. And I think what he's trying to do is trying to make that same analogy with AI. We could go find an energy source in the middle of nowhere, build a server farm, upload intelligence, power intelligence that then can get delivered to the world, right? Via satellite and whatever. I think that's the analogy he's trying to make. The negative take, or the tinfoil hat take, is that he discovered Bitcoin and now he wants to create an AI coin. And I didn't take that. I didn't get that from
3 years ago. We couldn't stop hearing about how Bitcoin used too much energy.
Yeah.
No one's complaining about the AI
Exactly.
use of energy.
Exactly.
He's now talking about how Bitcoin and AI is similar around stranded energy. He's not afraid to go near Bitcoin from an energy perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge turning point.
That's a good point.
I don't trust that guy more further than I could throw him.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think he has a very clean background, but very interesting statement and sort of the convergence there of AI and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our special guest for tonight.
No, it's PCE, buddy. You jumped ahead. Oh, we are. Okay, we're going special guest. Yay.
We got Jesse Tevelow with us. We got Kevin Kelly.
Can you guys hear us or me?
Yeah.
We got you.
Oh, fantastic. First time I've done this. I was trying to talk to you offline there, but I think I'm doing it okay. So how's everybody doing?
Very
Amazing
good.
show.
Yourself? Oh, thank you.
Doing great.
Yeah, we're doing okay. How about you guys?
Good. I'm running away from my kids. I apologize.
Aren't we all?
They're gonna find you.
So I just reposted this, so hopefully it's on X. But yeah, guys, it's been a crazy 48 hours with this stuff. But what's up, Punch? How you feeling, man? Crazy times.
Good, buddy. Doing good. So how do you want to get into this, guys? It's a little bit complicated, but
no, I guess I wanted to find out from you guys what your sense of the situation is. Is there any traction from the administration? Is there any thoughts that there's an actual pardon on the horizon, or do you think this is still far out?
Well, we're about 72 hours into this thing. I was tangentially aware of it. Jesse set up an interview with Keonne on Friday night. I just kind of sauntered into it, and then the more I heard, the more outraged I became of just what a travesty of justice this is. So, look, we've been on Spaces, we've been amplifying it. A lot of people had a lot of questions. They didn't know what exactly happened. Did those guys really do anything wrong? Bottom line is, the Southern District of New York, which has got a dubious reputation, particularly as it relates to President Trump, who we're seeking the pardon from, basically just ignored black letter law and railroaded these guys in the most overt way possible to send a message to the Bitcoin community. We've only just really gotten into it, but he's going to report from jail in 10 days or less than 10 days, but right before Christmas. And they're going to put him in prison with the maximum sentence that they pleaded to, but only because they starved them of the ability to defend themselves. All kinds of process and Brady violations and all kinds of other stuff we can get into. So we spent the first couple days just trying to figure out what exactly they were the nuances of what happened. People had questions. So getting through all that stuff, I sent it to Bo Hines. We'll see what he does, but he's probably afraid to lose his new job. Maybe, I don't know. But you really find out a lot about people when, they're like, well, it's not me and I don't know the guy and whatever. And it just becomes a little bit disheartening, but I'm seeing it amplified on X and on social media. And I think that if we can get some traction to penetrate the president's inner circle, this is a no-brainer for him, just on the merits of it, but because these are the same people who went after him. And as an ancillary benefit, it would be really nice to get the whole Bitcoin community back behind him, in my opinion.
That sounds hopeful. I hope you're accurate there.
Well, I've dug into this. To me, he's a political prisoner. Do you guys want to break down how this ended up in New York? I mean, New York, the SDNY, which sort of has.
Well, it never had any. It never had any business being there. It never had any business happening in the first place. But there's a clear reason, and it's because of the judges that they have put in place there. And there's some interesting nuances to the story, to where at one point they literally, he's about to essentially go argue for some motions to be dropped because of really good evidence, like Puncher just said, Kevin just said here. They had a Brady order, I think it's called. What is it, Punch? Brady.
It's a Brady violation. They basically had exculpatory evidence when they talked to FinCEN, who was the regulating body as to whether or not these guys violated a FinCEN law. FinCEN said no, they never took custody of the funds, so they're in the clear, and they buried that, and they continued to prosecute them anyway. So they buried the evidence that was exculpatory, and they just didn't care. They were going to get their man no matter what. And I think that tells you they were acting on the orders of whoever, but there was a foregone conclusion that this was going to happen, and evidence be damned.
Well, I think Brady wrote the letter that, Operation Chokehold 2.0 was over, and DOJ should not go after Bitcoin innovators, software programmers, coders. And SDNY, which has the nickname the Sovereign District of New York, because they do whatever they want. They went after Trump on the banking issue and sort of the mortgages. They also went after Ross Ulbricht and had no business being in New York. Ross didn't live in New York. He was in San Francisco when he was arrested. He's from Southwest.
Same here, Seth. Same here.
Yeah, that was the case with Keonne, where he's like, I don't understand because I haven't even set foot in New York and so on, right? So it's clearly from their end strategically to go from that.
SDNY put a Fed, an FBI agent on the streets of New York, downloaded the app. That's their jurisdictional claim. Now a New Yorker could be affected by this, right? So then back to what they brought up with FinCEN, right? FinCEN came out with letters in, I think, 2013 and 2015 or 2015, 2017. Clearly stating if you're not taking custody of the money, you're not a money transmitter. Right.
Yeah.
You can't do money laundering if you don't have the money. Right. So it's not like they broke laws. They did not break laws. Then they got dragged into New York. The judge was changed, somewhere during the trial or pre-trial?
Halfway through.
Well, it was days, but it was, I think, importantly.
This is not.
Importantly, because I've been listening to Keonne on all the interviews, and I'm learning more and more every time I listen to another one. It happened right before they were about to bring those things to the judge, and then exactly, then they dropped it, changed it to this much harsher judge.
They brought in the hanging judge last minute, who's 80 years old, by the way. Probably doesn't know what day it is.
And then that judge basically just said, nope, we're just dismissing everything. We're just including what FinCEN, a government agency, said. These guys are good. We looked into it. They're not doing anything fishy. We are the agency that you go to ask. Right. We're confirming they're good. And they said, no worries. We're going to continue on with the indictment. And we're going to go for the full maximum, and we're going to pull up to the guy's house with guns. I mean, it's the whole story is.
We raided his house.
We raid your house. It's off of shitpost tweets. That's their evidence. There's no actual, this is important. There is no actual crime. And even to this day, Keonne has not admitted to a crime. What he did is he agreed to a plea bargain in which he agrees to the fact of conspiring, which means he could have had intent. Maybe not, in knowing that someone could have used his software in a bad way. That's like saying anybody who goes and uses Google, who does it in a bad way, if I go use Google and I search for something and that's illegal, and then I go carry out a crime, that they're going to go after the leaders of Google, and they're going to go take the founders of Google and put them in jail. That's what they're saying they're doing now.
And the letter from the Trump administration is we'd rather go after the criminals, the people who are using the service for no good, not the people who are using it for privacy. And they've gone after nobody. $2 billion went through, or $2 billion worth of Bitcoin went through Samourai. They're alleging in their facts, the government, that 237 million of it was money laundered.
Yeah, but that's just a false claim. They have no evidence of it. And if they did, it would be part of the case.
Evidence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be evidence. They just say whatever they want to say. In this case, they just said all of the money that's going through there, we're just now going to classify as bad. It's just bad now because we can't track it. So now, therefore, they're conflating privacy with bad behavior or illegal behavior. There's nothing legally wrong with privacy. Privacy is a human right, as is property. right? And we talked about this, Puncher, in terms of like, you know, they're basically attacking basic human rights by attacking this guy. He's pretty young.
Right. We kind of know that with KYC, AML. Anytime you do a bank transfer over $10,000, you're put on a suspicious list. But this goes beyond.
Absolutely.
So they saw the judge was changed, and this judge has a record of going, really hard and maximum sentencing. So they were facing 25-year sentences. The government said, we're going to put $237 million on your backs. That when you get out, you can't do anything until that's repaid.
Yeah, your life is over. Well, it's look, Keonne is a soldier, man. I mean, you want to be in a foxhole with this guy. First of all, his partner, Bill, is older. So, if they had gone to court trial, which they couldn't done because they squeezed them out of any ability to defend themselves, but he would have died in prison for sure. He would have gotten out when he's 92 years old. Secondarily, they seized the assets or encumbered the assets of his entire family. He wasn't allowed. He did have Bitcoin, but he couldn't defend himself with his Bitcoin because he wasn't allowed to have anything to do with cryptocurrency, trade it, use it, anything. So they choked him off because they didn't have a case. They went to arrive at a preordained conclusion. And at the end of the day, Keonne just did it. He took the bullet for his family and his partner. But it's just the very definition of injustice.
The government, as part of the plea deal, said we'll cut it down to $6 million, which was all the fees Samourai collected over 10 years. It was not like this was a very lucrative business.
Nah, they were keeping the lights on, is what they were doing.
Whatever Bitcoin they seized, SDNY, they already sold against the SBR, which is keep all the confiscated Bitcoin. Yeah. So that's a rabbit hole there. But so this
think about that.
You guys gone rogue.
This is people, I don't know if people are really reading between the lines, but this is absolutely a war between two different factions within our government. And Keonne's stuck in the middle.
But here's the other thing. Like they are disregarding President Trump's order, whether he's aware of it or not. But look, we're confident that if we can penetrate that kind of bubble that Donald Trump is in, and he finds out what happened, and he's got an opportunity to stop these guys from disobeying his direct order, and stick it back to them who tried to literally put him in jail for life under Trump thumb charges. Look, and they're going to go after him. Look, if they lose in 2026, they're going to need Bitcoiners in the 2026 election because they're going to go after him. And after he gets out, they'll go after him and his family and his businesses and everything else. So for every reason in the world, President Trump has the opportunity to do the right thing, not only for himself, but he's got the ancillary benefit, or not only for Keonne and justice, but he's got the ancillary benefit of it being good for him personally, I think.
That's a great point, Puncher. Great point.
Well said.
What also is interesting about this was at the district level. So even if they didn't plea, this wouldn't be a precedent. That's at the appellate level. That's after an appeal at this level. So this isn't even a persuasive argument because they didn't win the case against them. So they just pled out. So, other than sort of the political persecution that we all know that software coders could go to jail for these kinds of things, without the precedent, I'm surprised the government, I thought they would rather have the precedent, no plea. You sort of get the persuasive argument and then take it to the appeals the way they're doing with Tornado,
but that's the
Roman Strong.
That's the point. The precedent's not a legal precedent. The precedent is, if you try this, we will get you come hell or high water, despite any fact pattern. The precedent is this heavy-handed, we're going to come after you and we're going to get you because we don't need to play by the rules. We're going to choke you out. We're going to starve you out. We're going to ruin you. And, even if you do plea, we're going to give you the maximum. So the message is loud and clear, and it's just, it's judicial tyranny. These people, these are the criminals, actually. The SDNY, they are the criminals.
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we have a legal justice system.
It's anything but there's no justice. It's the opposite at this point, to where they make it, they write the story ahead of time, right? The story is already written. It doesn't matter. And that was kind of the, Puncher, for me, when talking to Keonne, that's the moment when you realize that he had no choice from the very beginning. And So, here we are. But to Puncher's point, I just want to go back to it for a second. I think President Trump has an opportunity here to actually make a statement. And, none of us really know what's going on behind the scenes there. We do have some connection lines. And I do think we are going to get it in front of him. And he's probably already aware of it, I believe. But the question is, this is a real person's life, and it's not just him, it's his partner, Bill, both about to go to jail for, 5 years, starting in a couple days here. And so, I just appreciate you guys, but continue any questions you might have. We've kind of been locked in on it, but he ended up he was coerced into the plea bargain. That's basically what that boils down to. That part of the story is he had no choice. He was facing 25 years. They had him on his wife's property, his father's property. They were going after his family. I mean, he was being strangled, and it was either that, and he knew he was going to lose. He knew if it went to trial, they were going to give him the max because of the judge, because they switched this judge very, very strategically right at that moment, dropped everything, said no discussion, here we go, and said either go to trial and good luck. 25 freaking years. Are you kidding me? There's no way he's going to take that. And so here we are at the 5-year plea bargain.
Yeah, the insight for him was all pretrial motions, which cost him a ton. Were just denied it. They don't even know. They were not responded to. Typically, a judge will get a pretrial motion. They'll either accept or reject it, and then they'll write an opinion as to why. She didn't even bother to write an opinion. She just rejected it outright. That's what he knew.
Yeah, one of the motions they inquired about was the exculpatory evidence. So there's 6 months into trial. We'll review here proceedings, and the government's supposed to hand over everything. You don't even know what they might have. You don't know what you don't know. So how would you ask and give them a list?
Yeah,
correct.
They're even supposed to give you stuff that would sort of make you appear innocent.
Correct.
So
that's felonious. That's felonious activity by them. That's a felony.
That's by law. They must. If we have just think about it logically, if we have a true justice system, then what are we trying to achieve? The truth. We're trying to get to the truth. So it doesn't matter. It's not supposed to matter what side you're on. And this is what I'm talking about, where we've gotten to this place of lawfare that is absolute ridiculousness because it's not predicated on truth. It's about winning or losing. And that is not the purpose of justice, ladies and gentlemen. So that's kind of the crux of this entire issue, is that we have a case here with no evidence, with basically exculpatory evidence to the contrary, that they're innocent. We basically have the most evidence we have, the most hard evidence and probably strongest evidence of this case is in favor of their innocence.
They reached out to the government 6 months in and said, do you have any conversations with the FinCEN about us? That's who would regulate us. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh yeah, by the way, here you go. Mm. And it was the conversations about FinCEN being like, nah, it's all good. Like, we don't think that they're breaking any laws. Right. The laws that we would opine on, we would sort of make the accusation. They would be we are the ones who issue the license.
And it was because
and then the new judge was like, I don't want to even talk about that. That's not important to me. Yeah. And they wanted to refer to other cases and that instance, and the judge just, I don't want to hear about any of it. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also a litany of precedents, legal precedents in their favor that when they had their pretrial motions and that they disregarded. But hey, I want to say something, guys. A lot of Bitcoin influencers are building a brand, and I get it. Like, they don't want to go out on a limb and maybe jeopardize that brand because they're not quite sure of all the fact pattern in the case, and maybe they're backing the wrong guy. First of all, Keonne is an unbelievable spokesperson for himself, for Samourai Wallet, and for Bitcoin in general. The guy is he's an ace. So, he can handle himself. He's a very articulate guy. But I just want to say thank you to guys like you, Lawrence Lepard, Jeff Booth reached out. I think Natalie Brunel is going to have him on, Eric Rice and others. I see a lot of people kind of hiding a little bit, like they don't want to get dirtied up by this. But look, it's like living in the boat with the hope that the alligator eats you last, right? I mean, if they come for you, you'd probably like to know that the Bitcoin community, and I hear a lot of talk about Bitcoin community and freedom and privacy and people on stage at the Vegas conference and all that. Like, spare me your bullshit. This is the time where you got to step up and protect one of our own, or just get up there and talk about number go up. And don't let's not slander our intelligence to that degree, because you're full of shit. but I appreciate you guys. You did step up, so I really appreciate it.
Punker, for our audience, what can people do to help Keonne at this point?
Well, look, we're a network, right? First of all, there's a
petition.
A petition going around. Please sign the petition. You can give them some money. Don't there's some money to help these guys out there. We'll put the link somewhere.
And it's not giving them money directly, though. Just to be clear, they can't accept. I think right now.
That's right. They can't accept it right now. So that's correct. Said, but look, rack your brain. Like, imagine it was somebody you knew and loved. You'd go to the ends of the earth for them, just because it's a stranger. Look, he's one of us. So you have networks, you have the ability, and I want to break out of the Bitcoin bubble, right? A lot of people follow politics on Twitter. A lot of people know people. Just make them aware, and let's just amplify this thing to such a degree that at least it penetrates the bubble of Donald Trump, hopefully before he spends a second in jail. And I think we can do it. I mean, we're a big army, and if everybody does just one little thing, I have no doubt that he'll be standing on the stage in Vegas talking about what happened to him, and he'll be a guy who's talking about freedom and standing up. I mean, I'm remembering of our founding fathers. We all kind of take things for granted. When those guys signed the Declaration of Independence, these were guys of light and learning and wealth. They put everything on the line for a principle. It can't just be lip service, or we're all full of shit. This is the opportunity, and I can tell you, he was been on for hours. I said, anybody who's got any beef with these guys, because you're in business, you might have a beef with somebody from way back when, or the coding guys get a little esoteric here and there, whatever. Bring it now or forever hold your peace. And Keonne stood there and took all comers and answered every question. I am thoroughly confident that if you get behind Keonne, you will not be embarrassed. You're on the right side of history, and we can get this done. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is like Ross Ulbricht 2.0. This is so clear cut. If he spends a night in jail, like we've failed. We have to get through to President Trump, and then every day if he's in jail, this is really bad. We're not free citizens while he's in jail. As Bitcoiners, this doesn't really like affect or ruin Bitcoin in the sense that, but this is sort of the government side of things, and like where you live and where you plant your feet and the laws you live under. This is a really big deal and a turning point.
From the rules that we work under, we cannot see that they've committed any crimes.
And from everything I've seen, I don't know. It's not even as murky as Ross's case.
Right, that's what I was trying to get
at.
And
I think there was so much more murkiness that, again, I don't think proved Ross or made it sort of unclear that Ross wasn't a political prisoner, but that there was murder and intrigue. And I mean, this is very different, but very clear cut. And this is really bad. And as a Bitcoiner, I'd see like, wow, this is,
and it's another sort of mark on the chalkboard or carving in the tree that shows you that this justice system has got some serious issues.
This is more important than number go up. Yeah. I mean, this is so.
And by the way, it's an opportunity for us to put the word out there and let it be known. We are not to be trifled with. Yeah. You want to mess with us, you're going to pay a political price, and we can fight back now. In the early days, I mean, you guys were around. We were kind of like just kind of sly roundabout way. Don't let anybody know what we're doing here. Not now. We're a political force to be reckoned with, and you can't do that to us, or you're gonna kick the hornet's nest.
Yeah. And I think I hope to speak with Keonne tomorrow, but he's alluded that miners are next. There's a lot of similarities, and so this is the slippery slope. This is a massive turning point. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, the Trumps are miners too. Don't forget that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
But yeah,
see ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
This is when you get the old fact lists on the mining.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know about the Trump being miners meetings that they could join those lists and be compliant. That's not enough. This is about principle and freedom of speech in every direction, from miners to non-custodial
really,
self-custody.
Really, really a bad
to money transmitting licenses in that battle.
If we lose this as Bitcoiners, we've lost
a lot in America.
A lot. We've lost a ton.
Yeah. My son codes. That's
right.
All right, let's move on here. Let's get to the lightning round. They did like right. It's a BitcoinCenter brought to you by Byte Federal. get into it. Ooh. I think you're
Bitcoin Mina 2025. So Saylor, CZ, Saifedean, and others at the UAE. Does this mark the region's emergence as a serious Bitcoin center? Pun intended. Have you considered going?
Yeah, they invited me this year. I considered it. I looked at sort of the plane fare and the hotels.
Why are you here, man?
I like it here. I don't have to get on a plane.
It's
and
wet.
All that jazz.
There's moisture here.
But it looks more exciting than I thought it would be, to be honest. I see Michael Saylor walking around with cheeks talking about, rolling out Bitcoin products and interest in
our Bifederal CTO is there. He spoke at Bitcoin for Corporations and has attended. He's sending us like, watch this clip, watch that, watch Saylor this, watch that. So it's all good. The Middle East is going to. They got energy. They're going to get
money.
They got Bitcoin. They're going to. They got sovereignty. They're going to be running the show in the Middle East. Just seems like all things are pointing in that direction.
Yeah, especially if you're reading Simon Dixon.
Yep.
There's lots of intriguing tweets. Let's go to the next one here. The CZ shift debate.
So I have a nice box here.
What is that?
It has some, I think it's Kyrgyz language. I took it back from Kyrgyzstan. It has a certificate. I got this from a very important person from Kyrgyzstan. Very recently, just completely by luck. So we take it out. It's pretty heavy. I'll put this down. You can see, like it says, Kyrgyzstan, 1,000 grams, fine gold, 99.9.9, and a serial number. Try it.
Yes. Yeah, it's heavy.
Is it real gold or no?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is this what you're trying to?
Love it. That was brilliant.
That was great.
That was so good. I mean, let's like just drop the mic and leave the stage at that point.
Did you hear about the dinner in El Salvador with Bukele?
Mm-mm.
So someone gives Bukele like a sword. He's like, all right, cool. This is a nice gift, And then Giacomo gives him a bottle of rum, dictator rum, like Dictador or something like that. And then, then someone said, well, he doesn't even drink. And Bukele said, that's okay. I don't even play with swords that much, but. So,
that's awesome.
All right,
that's so
let's
good.
move on to the next one here.
All right. Yeah. What's the next one? Bank of America. Bank of America eyes BTC allocations. Okay. With Bank of America now guiding wealth managers to hold up to 4% in Bitcoin as a hedge against fiat debasement, how much does this shift the mainstream conversation about BTC's role in traditional portfolios?
Dude, the conversation is shifting every week. Stable coin deposits, stable coin payments.
I love how
crypto
Wall Street's like this is
allocations.
This
now.
is their idea now.
Well, sure,
dude,
why not?
Like fiat's debasing, bro. You need some Bitcoin.
That's like an SNL trade meme now. It's just like really like it's right there with inflation is transitory. It's just sort of accepted.
Yeah.
It almost like defangs inflation.
Yeah.
People are just like, hey man,
it's a good thing now.
Yeah, man, just do well with the trade, bro. The debasement trade.
The dollar's
so
going down, bro.
And this is not about Bitcoin though, or even crypto. This is about ETFs. Still,
good job, Bank of America.
So,
I'm glad you're advising everybody. That's amazing. Keep up the good work.
Well, conversation's moving along. Let's move on to the next one here. Please hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the show. It's a BitcoinCenter brought to you by Bifederal. So, all right, here's, do you think this is a big deal? The Fed ends QT with $13 billion liquidity injection. I mean, my mouth's on the floor with how small that number is.
I love it.
What do you think?
I mean, this is the central bank yo-yo, right? Let's tighten until we need to loosen.
I don't know. I don't think that's really meaningful development.
It's exactly right. What do you, okay.
Let's move on to the next one.
Good job, Jerome. Saylor announces $1.44 billion dividend reserve. With MicroStrategy setting aside 1.44 billion in reserves that could be funded with future Bitcoin sales, how does this shift the conversation around corporate Bitcoin treasuries at a time when MSCI is even considering index removal?
I think they're signaling to Wall Street, signaling to traditional finance and the banking system that's obviously, I think, a little nervous about them.
Yeah,
that they're growing up, they're maturing, they're conservative, they have a cushion. The irony that a lot of people point to is, this all started with the $500 million melting ice cube in 2020.
Yeah,
and now they have triple that in
well,
cash.
Yeah,
but
like he's got to pander to both parties, right? Like in the early days, it was all about gaining the plebs' support, and now it's about
they're also completely
Wall
different
Street
market
support.
cap, right? So the 500 million is on an 8 billion market cap.
Yeah,
the 1.5,
and he was a little micro company,
right?
And then he became a behemoth.
Sure.
And now he's got bigger bosses to answer to.
I think it's a smart move. I think it's sort of calming the markets. It feels like a bottom for strategy, not financial advice. It's sort of put through the ringer.
I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to please.
And this covers them. This is 21 months of dividends. They want to always have 24 months. They want to work this up, build this up to 24 months.
One thing I thought about when I read this, and this is all tinfoil hat stuff, but he announced his Bitcoin-backed dollar potential in Mina. And I wonder if these reserves could play into that somehow. If he could actually use these reserves to create his next credit instrument. Right. And I wonder if that's where this is going.
I think maybe I called the Bitcoin-backed dollar when I went on by Federal's show.
I think so, dude. You've been talking about this for a while. I didn't see it coming.
I now
he
think,
announced it.
Even in the United States, I think we're going to be on complete stable coins within 18 months in the United States banking system.
Ooh.
I think you will guaranteed have both in your account.
You think so?
Within 12 months.
I think it depends on the
18 to 24 months, there won't be the other kind in your account.
I think it depends on
the bank. They'll say all speed, transparency.
I think there's going to be a lot
liquidity.
Then there'll be a lot of banks that just don't transition. Because I can't.
Well, I think there's going to be consolidation in banks.
Yeah.
So,
right?
I mean, PNC just rolled out the buy, sell, trade Bitcoin with Coinbase doing the back end.
They need a good crisis to flush some of that out so that they can get the adoption they want. I'm sorry.
I think they got the flush out they were looking for.
I don't know, man. I think there's way too many banks that are behind the curve technology wise. I don't think they're gonna be able to make the shift, but
all right,
we'll see.
Let's move on to the next one here. Which one is this? Is this
It's yours. Is it mine? Where am I? Is it mine? No, okay, well, yeah, you're supposed to ask me this.
Yeah, I got it. All right. Bitcoin diverges from the S&P 500.
Yeah.
The S&P 500 rallied and Bitcoin is not really rallied alongside.
Yeah.
I mean, does this mean anything to you? Is this decorrelation? Is this indicative of anything? This is not a big deal to me.
If you frame this in the perspective of how Bitcoin is traded sideways for a year now, to me, it's price suppression so that institutions can accumulate. Sovereign wealth funds can accumulate. Nation states can accumulate. Whatever. I think literally it's all about trader games in order to aid in the accumulation of Bitcoin into the hands that are going to be the long-term holders for the next phase.
So just take a look at it. So you have all the centralization of Bitcoin, the banks, the ETFs, the treasury companies,
the funds,
and you have the sort of the notion. Roger Ver wrote the book Hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin's been hijacked. Epstein funded, MIT.
Mm-hmm.
MIT funded Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people at MIT funded. I'm not a big fan of their work on Bitcoin and the direction. I mean, Gavin went to the CIA. Is it at all possible, non-zero chance, that this is going in the exact direction sort of the banking system would want, the government would want, that
I don't think
that Bitcoin is not throw in Samourai,
yeah,
things like Tornado, the lack of privacy on Bitcoin. even Keonne would say, we can have the ultimate freedom money, or we're going to have a savant panopticon on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
right. I don't think anybody's happy right now. I don't think anybody's in control or anybody's
sure,
happy.
but I mean, it seems like if they maybe they haven't gotten there, but like,
are they trying? Yes, Yes, 100%.
I think they're having a lot of success.
100%. Like this,
it's like the Death Star is like there, and it's like,
yes,
everyone's like, hey, grandma, like you could buy the Bitcoin ETF and get on the Death Star.
The other thing that I've been thinking about recently, as I've been watching like power law analysis versus exponential equity analysis, is that the papering of Bitcoin, right? All these institutions that want Bitcoin exposure but aren't necessarily interested in taking on Bitcoin custody. That could lead to Bitcoin trading more like an equity where they control, and maybe that's what we're starting to see. Price suppression, taming the volatility, crushing the volatility, getting a big swath of sideways action so they can accumulate the exposure they want. Right. And then they could trade it like an equity. They could run it exponentially, make a stupid amount of money because the supply is so constricted, and then dump it. And then Bitcoin would then look like the final bubble. Like you saw when Amazon went to $9, right? Like it could trade exponentially like an equity because of the control that they garner. And that could really melt some confidence in people that have, maybe this is their first Bitcoin cycle.
Yeah. What about the notion? I mean, I think about the long-term value of Bitcoin. You could everything divided by 21 million, or you could sort of go on any other sort of model and think, wow, Bitcoin is really undervalued. To me right now, and I'd say, okay, I'll wait. What about the notion that Bitcoin is extremely overvalued right now? What if Bitcoin is so far ahead of, we have no history to go on, nothing to compare it to. I mean, a lot of people say Bitcoin should be doing better than gold. It should be doing better than the S&P. There's no rules here. There's no laws of physics. Maybe Bitcoin and some other timeline multiverse would only be worth like 10 grand right now. I mean, 90 grand is a lot of money, even if that's not doing better than on a gold adjusted basis than gold, or however it's compared. I mean, it's still a lot of money. It's come a long way.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It could be worth like 8 grand right now.
I mean, that I understand what you're saying. I think when you look at Bitcoin scarcity versus gold scarcity, right? Like if you want to control gold, like if you're China, right? You want to, you find a new mine, you get the permits, and you tell miner, go drill and
spend the capex, run the OpEx,
get the gold for us, right? And
sure,
gold supply expands, and maybe nobody even knows about it because it goes straight to
or wrap some tungsten and sell it to Britain,
whatever, right? Sure. So like, there's all these other ways to accumulate gold. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. It's not like you can dig.
Yeah, that means a game of musical chairs and and with the lights off. I mean,
good. Yeah, well, lights are on.
And you have the opportunity to grab chairs before the music stops.
Musical chairs with the lights on, and you're looking around, and the chairs are disappearing, and the people are not.
Sure, and you can go stack chairs in the corner for your family. I mean, you don't have to like leave chairs behind, and you can get more than your share.
Take
or whatever
a chair and go sit in the corner and be like, "You guys play the fucking game."
You can take 10 chairs.
I got my chairs.
Right.
So Bitcoin ends where Bitcoin is always worth 1 Bitcoin. Whatever purchasing power gap we generate between fiat and Bitcoin between now and whenever the end of the frickin' fiat fiasco printing stops, because that's what I don't hear anybody talk about except for Chris Sullivan, right? Is that someday potentially they don't have to print. Okay, so but between now and then, we're creating this spread of value, this gap between fiat dollars put into Bitcoin versus the market multiple. And that's an increase in your purchasing power. Well, if the fiat system collapses, if the financial system collapses, or we get rugged, we get the great takening, and all those assets get rugged, you're still going to maintain that spread because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin and you're going to have some of it. And fiat is just endless. Paper securities are endless. Companies that rely on fiat will go bust. Bitcoin will still be Bitcoin. And there'll only still be 21 million. So you're always going to maintain your purchasing power. And you'll always be able to trade with Bitcoin.
Well, not if things go the way they're going with the Samourai case. It's a surveillance panopticon, and they're going to say you can't move it, you can't use it. We'll tax it 99%.
Yeah, I guess it becomes black market money.
I mean, that's a leave America type situation, right?
It's like, is it?
Are we all going to go live in El Zante? Is it? We're all going to secretly trade on just cyberspace. We can't really trade in person because we're.
There's gated cities. I've talked to Bitcoiners that have thought through this, and they're like, there could be a point in time in the future where you do need to hard fork Bitcoin into a privacy version of Bitcoin.
Right. So one of Keonne's points is we've been spending a lot of time on, not we, you and me, but developers on scaling tokens and not enough time on privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And tools they can't stop. They put Samourai out of business. All right, let's move on. It's one of my favorite topics here. Are we on Tether?
Yeah.
Now they're facing renewed solvency scrutiny. What do you make of the S&P's downgrade, sort of reviving old solvency concerns?
I don't think very much about any of the rating agencies. So, and if you read this news piece, it's a hit piece. It's not research. It's not data driven. It's completely just somebody funding an article based on being angry of the fact that, the world is going digital and the Trumps are part of it. So take it with a grain of salt.
I think it's the
Tether,
the banking industry striking back. But, Tether's, very wrapped up with Cantor and SoftBank. It'll be interesting. And in El Salvador. So
yeah. And Tether is, Tether bought, their issue here is that they're not 100% backed by treasuries. That's one of the issues that they have. They're partially backed with Bitcoin and gold.
Do you think Tether's a net positive or net negative? Do you like Tether? Are you weary of Tether?
I'm not leery of Tether. I'm leery of the.
They work with the state,
like extending fiat.
Monetary colonialism, the negative sides of fiat.
Yeah, it's a really tough question to kind of deal with because it's like I can completely understand why someone in a third world country would download a wallet and go completely on a stablecoin system.
Yeah.
Versus their local fiat. I completely get it. And they deserve the ability to
Tether
step function improve in their ability to function financially. And it is kind of like Western privilege to be like, oh, it's inflating at 7%. Like, fuck you, dude. My currency inflates at 40% a year. Like, okay, I get it. Do your stablecoin thing. The other side of me is like, we just need to kill fiat. So it's
that's tough. The weird thing. So Tether's kind of birth was around sort of helping you get into Bitcoin, and stay in sort of maybe the Bitcoin ecosystem in a way, however you want to look at that. Now it's sort of like, how do you further the dollar?
Yeah,
there's a very different sort of ethos. It seems like it doesn't seem like it's really supporting Bitcoin at all anymore.
It's a bit like
it's ethos.
The enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Sure,
and it may just be a point in time in history where this is what needs to happen in order for Bitcoin.
Doesn't Tether seem more like a dollar company than a Bitcoin company?
Sure, but what I'm getting at is Bitcoin and crypto are sort of uniting against an enemy.
Sure,
right now in order to get a stronger footing. But
it's like the three Spider-Mans squaring off.
Right, but at the end of the day, eventually, the fight will continue on to the next phase. We have to move forward with and it's sometimes you can't be an idealist in order to succeed.
Well, the only thing less exciting than Tether is the yen.
I don't know, dude. I think the yen.
You think this is well? I mean, this is like the death of a currency, or the sort of control, or the yen carry trade. The notion that they could just manipulate this thing.
I mean,
they're in this like tight spot where it's like,
I mean,
do we raise rates and destroy our economy, or do we lower rates and print trillions of dollars and like destroy our economy?
Their bond market rates are rising.
They're close to 2%
on their own. So they're raising rates to try and suppress the natural market forces that are going to take the
well, they're printing a lot of money. They're a huge stimulus bill.
So this is when we were talking at the beginning of the show. I think Japan has some incentive for war, unfortunately, right? When countries have got themselves in these positions,
but the yen is just
oftentimes war is the solution.
Just the fiat, the dollar manager of Japan in a way, right? Like the way you explain it, it's like you get to be the regional.
Not yet.
They're tied. They've been tied to the dollar, and they take direction. It seems like
100%.
So it's like an outpost.
So
I feel like if we don't want them to go to war in that way, they'd have to drag us kicking and screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would be. I don't know, dude.
Maybe we want them to go to war so the Fed can kind of send them money.
I don't want to see.
Money.
I don't want to see
money laundering.
I don't want to see any wars anywhere in the world. But when I look at the chess table, I can see a potential where China invades Taiwan. Japan says this is existential for our security. We support our partner. We've got Anduril feeding them a bunch of drone weapons, and we're supporting Japan's war front in Taiwan against China, and it becomes this new proxy war with the U.S. and China via Japan. I could see that happening. I hope to God
Japan
it doesn't.
skips building a conventional military and goes right to drones. You're saying they don't really have a.
They use U.S. technology,
U.S. tech.
I literally in the last month saw Lucky Palmer talking about how you would defend a Taiwan invasion by China on a TED Talk, and then I see a tweet today about Japan saying if China invaded Taiwan, it'd be existential for our security, and then I see Martin Armstrong saying the war is not going to be with Russia, the war is going to be with China. Just going, oh my God, they're just feeding the algorithm to get people prepared for this. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to see any of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of this garbage.
It's an interesting angle.
When countries get in these positions, this tends to happen.
Right. Yeah. They seem to need an outbreak for these crisis type moments with the economy. All right, let's move on to the next one here. The last one. Let's play this clip here.
I'm surrendering not just physically, but also my sovereignty. And I'm now their property for the next 5 years. And they can do with me essentially what they want.
So you're going to go most likely into a detention center in Brooklyn, and then eventually get designated to some kind of facility. That'll be your long-term facility. I spent several years in the detention centers in Southern District of New York. And it's going to be a totally alien environment. It's going to be you with about 100 other guys, packed into a unit, and you're going to have to live in this situation. I guess you said you've talked to people who've been through it, so I'm sure you've got your strategy figured out, but all I'll say is just stand back and observe for the first couple months, get a sense of who's who and how things operate, and if somebody tests you, then you just have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I listened to your interview, and I was listening to this, and man, it's just I agree with what Jesse's saying, that you don't deserve to be facing what you're facing, and especially because they dropped the money laundering charge, and so the only authority they have to put you in prison right now is the other charge, the money transmission charge, and my understanding is that FinCEN gave you the guidance that you're not breaking that law, and FinCEN gave those prosecutors the same guidance that you're not breaking any laws.
That's right.
And we all know that you had no custody of funds, which is an element of the offense, as far as I understand it. So the way things stand right now, I don't see how anyone can justify sending you to prison for the next 5 years on those grounds. So you have my support, Keonne, and they're going to try to put you in prison in 2 weeks, but I hope they don't. And if they do, I really hope you don't spend any more time in there than you have to.
It's really.
This is not. I mean.
Well, hopefully, Ross chiming in, Ross Ulbricht, will kind of bring some more attention to it.
Yeah, hopefully he has a line to some people in the administration.
You hope, and maybe he'll even go out further for him and make a call.
I don't know how, I know people that of our class of Bitcoin are aware of this threat. I don't know how many new people today really comprehend what is lost if we lose the ability to self-custody. Because really this is what it comes down to, right? Because FinCEN's guidance that if you're holding your own coins and you're doing peer-to-peer transactions, you're not doing money transmission.
Right.
And that is so important. If we lose that ability in Bitcoin, that's it's just another Wall Street asset at that point.
Right. Well, right now this isn't precedent setting. This isn't kind of creating law. Okay. This isn't. So again, this is
yeah, but we can't.
This is at the district level, and he pled. So there's no win at even the district level, and even at the district level, the law is that no other district judge has to acknowledge or follow another district judge's ruling. It would just be a persuasive argument. Could it be
appealed in another jurisdiction?
If they won, if the government won and they lost, then that would be sort of it would be persuasive argument. It wouldn't be precedent. Then if Keonne appealed and they took it to the appellate judge, appellate court, then the ruling on that would be precedent. So right now, that's where Roman Strong is. I think is his name, with Tornado. So he lost, and he's going to appeal, and the outcome of that will set a precedent. So this seems like not personal with Keonne, but they're sort of using him as a political sort of pawn or prisoner to set sort of a message, it seems like. But what this also paints is there could be laws that this is okay, and they'll still come after you if they want to throw you in jail. Right. They'll put you in front of the judge they choose.
If they want to make
they want to not give you evidence. If they want to
make an example out of you.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they'll come after you, and they'll strangle you financially. They'll take all your stuff. They'll go after your family, all your family's financial assets. Right now, even Keonne's lucky. He's on bail. He made bail. He's under home arrest, so he can't leave the house. Right, so at least he's home. He can spend some time with his wife and family before going. He goes in on December 19th. He reports. He just found out where he reports. This begins, or some way moves on, transitions to a different phase on December 19th, and he loses his freedom and he ends up in a cage in about 10 days. It's interesting to me. One thing I'm guessing he pled out about 72 to 96 or something like that hours ago. because this seemed to come on really fast in terms of how urgent this all is. It seems to have really developed in the last 72 hours. I don't know why there was so much less attention on it weeks ago. I'm not saying there was zero, but obviously now that we're in an urgent situation. So there's a petition you could sign. I think obviously just, hopefully Natalie Brunell will have him on. I think she's a great voice for kind of getting this out. Just she has a tremendous platform. It's more mainstream. We need mainstream support. This has to go up bigger than Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah.
So, all right. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat, Francis, but
nothing tonight, boys.
All right, man. This has been great. This is BitcoinCenter live stream 32 every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Brought to you by Byte Federal. Go bank yourself. You got point of sale, crypto wallet, and the Bitcoin ATM. Buy that shit. Put that shit in your own self-custody. Stamp your seed phrase in metal and secure for generations. Thank you, Paul, so much.
Huddle on.
All right, peace out.